All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, well, Josh right now. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is time for episode 2 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante, the fan stream. All right, ooh, that took a minute to load. I have to keep that in mind for the future. Hello and welcome, friends and familials and Josh. Right now it's just Josh, but that's fine. All right. I'm gonna have to get a different setup soon so we stop saying goodbye to the music, but welcome, hello. All right, Josh is all set to go to make some decisions. And, man, you better hope that some Anchor fans don't come after you later. All right, here we go. We're gonna do a quick recap and then we're gonna get started. Just hop right to it. I'm not sure how much time I got, but at least enough time to get things going for a bit. Can you hear me good? Everything good? All right. And there should be there should be a little bit less of a delay this time. I should have fixed everything to where it's good. All right. So as a quick recap, we have grown up out of childhood. Grandpa's in town. Grandpa is an a-hole. And, we are one of the few people, and we'll read this in a moment, we're one of the few people who can actually decide our futures. It's all built on a basic caste system. Your birth determines what you can do in life. And that brings us to where we are in adolescence. You've lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life grows more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now that realm is expanding. It also includes your neighborhood, the nearby houses, the streets, the ancient city of Anazote. A question now looms over you, growing more persistent with each passing year. What will your place in this vast outside world be? Few people in the blessed Arcanian Empire trouble themselves with this question. It's not within a man or a woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by their birth and those who bore them. Pretty sad life. And yet your peculiar birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, a worthy example in matters of duty and honor. Your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, humility and patience made flesh. And your catch hold. Uh-oh. Is this my internet that's causing me problems? My internet did a buffer. There we go. All right. So, where do we leave off? Yes. You decided to catch the lash when you were being given your first, what they call sacrament, which is basically a beating. You got beat up. But you tried to catch it in an act of defiance. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know what happened with that internet spasm. Or will you will you accept the drudgery and suffering, or will you follow in your father's footsteps? Perhaps you follow the twin God's word and offer spiritual guidance to others. Those are really the 3 choices that we're going to end up having. I'll give you a tiny bit of a spoiler. You will get to choose one of 3 paths. The story kind of like starts here, and then it expands out, and then it narrows back down, and then it expands way out. So we've got some choices to make to build his character, and then you get the choice to make what he's going to do eventually. All right, so here are the endings that can possibly happen. You've got Gloria's secret, discovering a secret society that Gloria has joined, and below it you see the conditions. You need a 4 or better in ingenuity. If you want to find out about your elder brother's forbidden love, you need a 4 or greater in nobility. For the blood tide, you need to participate in the ritual, and you either need the nobleman's sacrament, which you did not do, or if you want to do the blood tide ending, you need to have a really good relationship with Gregor, which you guys don't have a bad one so far, so that's possible. You got Nathan's admonition, which you need a 4 of spirituality for. Ooh, you can fall in love. You can also get this revelation at the tree, and then this lady Sophia, who is that? I guess we'll have to find out, but you got enough willpower for it at the moment. So these are some new traits that you guys will be able to deal with. You've got nobility, ingenuity, spirituality. All of those are going to be built up by the decisions you've already made. You've got plenty of willpower at the moment. You're untouched by death. But death lurks around every corner. The relationship screen, which is below where my face is available. The map is available if you want to look at it. You guys can ask for it, but it doesn't really help you a lot in the gameplay. It's just like an interesting detail that's added. And the province screen, that is not as useful yet, but that will be more useful for you in the adulthood years and the revolt years. All right. So let's get back to it. Adolescence. The family expects more and more of you as you grow up. Teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes at all time. Your life these days is dedicated to studying for your future, for the future of the Brante family. Your younger brother Nathan keeps growing up too. He can hold a conversation now. You never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. It's a rainy day, father and mother have gone to the ball, and they left Nathan in your care. Did you see the drops on the page? So cool, the little details these guys. I love Sever. They're coming out with a new game soon, and I'm so excited to play it. They left Nathan in your care. You lose track of time over the books in the sitting room, and Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Soon you hear his voice begging you to come outside. He's on the porch, sobbing, covered in dirt. You walk up to him as he continues to bawl. Dawn, it's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and he called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. He said I called my brother to punish him other ones. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house. Oh, for a minute I thought he was talking about the kid. Yeah, the detail is awesome. He points to this lopsided wooden house further down the street where the poorer artisans live. You see two boys lingering there on the porch. They are clearly both commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way just like him. The other is older, almost your age, but he's more broad-shouldered and taller. His name is Tomas. You've heard him before. There are the ones. That's him. There's a pillow. I'm gonna sleep a while. Nathan points at the younger boy and hides behind your back. Tomas grins and rolls up his sleeves, revealing strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labor for quite some time. Oh gosh, what voice did I do for Tomas? Oh no, I remember. Listen up, rich boys. We don't give a darn about your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. That's right, I made him monotone, and then when he gets into adulthood, he learns to add more tones to his speech. That's what I did. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fights with people who can throw him in the mud. Your hand clenched into your fist before you react. Nathan called them names first, no wonder they did the same, that's how it goes. But pushing your brother into a ditch is too much. Tomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. You are about to get ready for a fight when you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn your head to see Nathan, the one who started all the mess. And you cannot listen to your brother first. And I can tell you exactly what moment you needed to decide differently. You needed to snatch the baby. You needed to snatch baby Nathan out of your mom's arms. If you had done that, you would have been able to listen to your brother first. But oh well. So, which one? I see there are two people, other than me, who are checking in here. Do you want to come at Tomas and give him a beating? Do you want to say that your brother is to blame? Or do you want to try to resolve the matter peacefully? Which is it? You want to beat him up? Do you want to say that your brother's to blame? Or do you want to try to be the peacekeeping guy? Up to you guys. You can either type it in or You still stand by the earlier decision? Well, you're wrong. I just kid. Or do I? So, which shall it be? Shall you fight? Shall you blame Nathan? Or shall you choose to be the peaceable little dude? Take your picks, my friend, take your picks. What shall it be? Do any of them require willpower? No, none of them require willpower. None of the others require anything. Only listening to your brother first requires anything. Now, I will tell you, this is not the... If you make a mistake here, it's not the worst decision. Ah, so you want to resolve the matter peacefully. Okay. All right. We can do that. All right, we shall indeed then be peaceable. Resolve the matter peacefully. Like the little peacekeeper you are. This quarrel could be resolved peacefully. You turn to Tomas and offer to solve the problem like adults. You also teach him how to raise his voice an octave so that he at least has 2 tones from which he can talk. Josh says, I think peace. There doesn't seem to be many good consequences for the other choices. Well, let's see how this turns out. Turn to Tomas and offer to solve the problem like adults. His brother will apologize to Nathan, and Nathan will apologize to him in return. There's no need to fight anymore, and you will give Nathan a piece of your mind when you get home. You and Tomas are all grown up and should act your age, you say. And the blood rushes to Tomas's face when he hears this. Act our age, you say? Are you calling me a baby? You better shut your trap. And this is all he says before he attacks. You barely dodge a fist flying in your face. You start trading blows, huffing and puffing with rage. The younger brothers gawk at the sight. Tomas doesn't resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fists aim for your head. You keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him. He takes a couple of glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. You start swinging your fist with greater and greater fury. Your heart is pounding like a hammer. You see nothing but the foe in front of you. How much longer will this take? Josh says, good lord, at least he started it. Yeah, pretty much no matter what, there was going to be a fight. That's why I say that this isn't the biggest consequence fight, because like it changes 1 or 2 things, but not significantly. Like, you were going to get into this fight no matter what. You're worn out, your breath grows ragged, and your muscles grow heavy, but there's no way you can give up now. Nathan is watching you. Desperate and out of options, you swing and punch Tomas square in the nose and immediately let his fist smack you in the temple. The blow rings through your head like a bell and blinds you for a moment. The world swims before your eyes. You clutch at your head to get your bearings. Tomas is standing in front of you. Blood is dripping from his nose. You no longer want to fight it out, and it seems your opponent would rather end it as well. But you keep standing there, eyeing each other angrily. Then suddenly, you hear an angry shout from right next to you. An enraged man in a craftsman apron is shaking his fist. Tomas's face contorts in terror right away. It's my father, run! The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the mere prospect of that makes you run like the wind. Tomas sprints in front of you. You dash across the rotten wood planks of the back alley, up and over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, and then forward into the tall grass. You hide there and stay quiet. You hear no sounds of pursuit. You exchange glances with Tomas and start laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. I'm gonna get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating. And he'll start nagging me about the lots and the prayers for days like he always does. Why do I always let myself get mixed up in this stuff? But fighting's the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? Adults didn't see you fighting, you tell him, so all you have to do now is convince them you weren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? Mother gets nosebleeds all the time. Ooh, interesting note. Well, we could try. Let's hope our little brother doesn't tell on us. I'll talk to mine. There's a scratch on your head. Don't let them see it. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There, good as new. You assure him that Nathan will never tell, and in return, you'll make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed into a ditch again. With that, you shake hands with Tomas. His handshake is as strong as you would expect based on his fists. You make your way out of the tall grass. You need to leave before Tomas's father goes to your family and complains about you breaking your laws. You come to a realization on the way back. You had no idea the place where you were hiding ever existed, and it wasn't too far from home. Tomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know lots of places like that. I tell you what, if we get out of this mess today, I'll show you the way to the old fortress wall. It's a perfect place to build your own fort. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build all alone. My brother never helps. He just gets in the way. Aha! You emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret only the two of you know. It seems you've made a friend today. Because that's what dudes do. We beat each other up and then we're buddies. So you have gained a +1 to your relationship with Tomas. Good job, good job. And the way that you handled that situation, trying to be peaceful, brought up your spirituality. Alright, so that's a good thing. So let's move on and see what the next decision is. Next year. Oh, is this the scene that I think? Yep. The birds aren't quite as blaringly loud. I turned them down earlier. It's blistering hot today, even for the sun-parched land of Macra. As soon as you're done with your studies, you dash outdoors and out of the stuffy room. You and Tomas roll up your shirt sleeves, but it barely helps. You would gladly go shirtless had you only been in the company of other boys, but there are 3 girls in the yard today. They are doing laundry in a big wash tub, whispering and giggling. If you could, you would gladly keep watching one of them at work. She has big eyes of deep blue. Her dark hair is braided and her plain gray dress is mended and patched all over. Her name is Sophia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of the sun are reflected in her eyes. You, Tomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories, anything to make her laugh. And I don't think I had a voice for her. Or I did, but it was too difficult to maintain. You sure love telling tall tales, other ones. Oh, I remember this one time. But then Sophia hears a voice calling her home. She nods to you and runs across the street smiling. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking elsewhere. But then a stone on the road catches her foot. She stumbles and falls flat on the dust. The street starts shaking from the thundering hooves. Riders appear from the road around the corner. They bear a coat of arms you recognize right away. A sable serpent blade upon a field of vert. It symbolizes the Melandians dynasty, the family of your province for the Archduke. The horses dash forward. A lost wooden toy on the road cracks under their hooves. They will not slow down. They are nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Sophia's in their way, just now starting to get back on her feet. Her mother is crying for her desperately from behind the fence door. You freeze in terror. The riders surely see the girl. Are they going to stop, or are they going to trample her? In only a few moments, the beautiful girl will be toppled, trampled, and crushed. And guess what? You've got enough willpower if you want to save Sophia from the horses, or are you going to stay where you are and see if she survives? What shall it be, friends? You have the choice to shield Sophia or stand and watch. What kind of choices? Okay, so Josh says, what kind of choice is this? Shield her. All right, Josh is going to choose to shield Sophia. Anybody else going to challenge that? Doesn't look like it. All right, shield Sophia it is. You throw yourself blindly into the road, swinging your arms wildly, dazed by the sound of the thundering hooves. You can see nothing in the dust. For a brief moment, the horses slow down just long enough for Sophia to get back on her feet and flee to the roadside. But then the riders dig their spurs in. Dozens of hooves knock you to your feet and roll across your body. Your bones crack, break, and crumble. Your ears are ripped apart by the thundering rhythm of the ride. Your innards are pulverized. The last thing you remember is the sound of your own skull caving in. Good job, Josh! You killed him! That brings us to your first death. hey, it's okay. In this world, you have multiple lives. You can basically die and get resurrected a few times. So this is just death one. You fall into the pain that embraces you like a soft feather bed. You feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelops you in its secure embrace. The waves carry you. Their touch is soft. They delicately enshroud what was once your body. It's a feeling unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Something absolute and complete. You touch something greater, the reason behind everything, the reason for your existence. You were sculpted in this light. It was the first thing you ever felt, a boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. Your beginning was a spark that cast light in all directions. There's a lot of reading here, guys, basically, but the light gleaming from you resembles the light of the shining pillar. You still see it in the north as always. The waves of the light carry you to figures. The elder is the nearest. He is ready to accept you. He's quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. You don't know what he is yet. The waves pause at the elder's feet. He leans over you and plants a feather-like kiss on your forehead. The kiss spreads all over you. That's a little sexual. You are filled with the unparalleled delight and bliss. You exist, you are unique, there is no one like you. They know this, and they love you. Still sounds really sexual. You will never be alone. You're a part of them, a part of your family, a part of the universe. That's Hinduism and Buddhism. The twin gods will never leave you. They watch over you constantly. It's just an unforeseen kiss. Still really creepy. You float on top of the silver tree's spreading crown. The closer you get to the silver tree, the heavier you become. The waves draw you down its trunk, but you do not wish to depart with the warmth and the softness with love. You turn around. The elder is still watching you. He nods. All is as it should be. Go, your time has not yet come. You must return to the world now. As you tumble down toward your body, you comprehend the true meaning of your lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to you. Love exists not only in the hereafter, it is present in the entire design of the twins that is the origin of all life in this world. Now, this decision doesn't per se matter super much. I don't think it changes anything. I've not found that these after-death decisions change anything. But it's still an interesting question. What is the manifestation of this love in your mortal life? Is it the empire by creating the empire? The gods show care for living in all creatures? Is it the lot? They give you a clear mission in this world. Family? Is it your cause? That they allow you a chance to change things? Yourself? That what could be a stronger manifestation of this love than your very existence? Or do you just remain silent because you don't find the answer you seek? This is where the game gets really philosophical, and part of why I enjoy it so much. Josh says cause. A sudden comprehension of the love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates your mind, but then it fades away and vanishes. You regain sensation to your flesh. It is heavy and unwieldy. It lacks lightness. The light, it is a burden smothering you. You gasp for air. Your chest expands painfully, and you feel as though Did I not? I didn't end that poll earlier. Oops. Feels though you're about to burst. The stagnant odor of the crypt fills them, revolting, but so real. You are back. Then you can feel again. You sense your body, head, arms, and legs. The light fades around you, obedient before the will that is stronger than you. You return to the world. Such is the law of the twins. You will return to the world until it is time for your true death, and in this world you will have a body a witch to feel pain, suffering, and pleasure. You smell a sickly, moist odor. You open your eyes and see the figures of mother and father in the gloom over the family crypt, speaking to each other quietly. People about to freak out. Yeah. You stop as soon as they hear your gasp. Mother runs to you and locks you in an embrace as father wraps you in his cloak. Neither of them says a word as they lead you out of the surface and back home. You've met a terrible end, my son. You were trampled by those horses. Don't be so careless again. The lives you were granted by the twin gods are not to be wasted so recklessly. You would be punished for this, but the twins have already meted out their punishment. You tremble, your footsteps uneasy as you learn to move again. Your body is eerily smooth, fresh, and renewed. Even the recent scars and scratches are all gone. But there's something new on it. A fresh, black mark. A reminder of your lesser death beneath those hooves. Why does everyone in this universe have multiple lives? That just seems to be something that these, yes, everyone in this world has multiple lives. That's why they call it a lesser death. It means that you had something happen to you that causes you to die, but you've not died enough times that it's your last chance. See, you get 3 deaths. Oh, you don't care. Okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, everybody has those lives. You can die 3 times unless there is, and they'll explain this later on down the line, but in a court setting, if something you've done is terrible enough to deserve it, then you can be sentenced to a true and final death, even if you've never died before. All right, 1 second, my friends. If you guys want, you can look at this scene while I'm taking care of stuff. Okay, sorry about that, friends. Alright. Momentary break done. Just need to check in with the missus. She was leaving one of her sessions, and everything's good, so we're ready to go. It's almost baby time, so oh wait, I don't have a face. There we go. Face back. Okay. Alright, so remember that by the twins' mercy, all are given enough time in this world. Should you die before your time, you will be brought back by their grace. For 3 times they will rescue you from a terrible fate, but the 4th death is the true and final for all. So that's the explanation, that they try to save you before you ridiculously lose your life to something you didn't need to lose it from. Every loss of life we are granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us, but the gods told us not to mourn a lesser death, and so we humbly accept this and move on. Notice the difference between how she treats. Yeah, she's very expositional. But part of this, and you'll see this, is like she's trying to push you in a particular direction. I mean, both the parents are, mom and dad are both trying to push you into a certain lifestyle. But mom is very upfront about it. See, your body has been reborn anew, with all your wounds healed. Do not mourn the loss of life, my son, but thank the twins for their justice. Do not speak of this, and do not ever play by the road again if you wish to keep on living. You cautiously go back outside the next day. Children from the neighborhood surround you. They all saw you get trampled, and now they ask you the same questions. What was it like to die? Tomas rescues you from their persisting. He pushes the motley crew aside, hugs you, and pats you on the back. Look at you, buddy. You gave an entire life to keep a girl safe. Then you see Sophia. She's standing nearby, shyly working up the courage to walk over to you. Soon she finally approaches you and begins to speak rapidly. Other ones, why did you throw yourself in front of the horses? My life isn't worth any more than yours, and so why did you think that? You weren't supposed to die there. It was those riders' fault. They deserved to die, not you. Her voice rises to a shriek. She suddenly stops and runs back home. You stay where you are, watching her run, the golden rays of sun dancing in her braided hair. And that gains you, even though you had to die to get it, a +1 to your relationship with Sophia. You have also lost some of your willpower. Now she's indifferent. No. It starts off in a level of 0, which is full indifference. And you gained 1, which means she's less indifferent. I got confused by it at first. Alright, but doing that one action, you've gained 1 to nobility, you have gained 1 ingenuity, and you've gained another spirituality, which now brings you to a new bracket of the Searcher. Yeah, less indifference is better. And that will allow you to do some other things that you weren't able to do otherwise. So, good job. Keeping things open. Sophia disappeared after the terrible incident with the horses. Her friends gossip that her parents sent her off to serve a rich noble dynasty. You haven't seen each other since that day, but you still remember Sophia's eyes, the sunlight shining in them. But no matter what, life goes on. You're 10 years old now, your studies continue, and you are learning more about the land that you live in. Anazote, the ancient city in an imperial province by the name of Magra. All the soil of Magra was turned to ash eons ago, scorched by magic during the rebellion of the Duke Charmelandius. And I'm just guessing on that pronunciation. The magical arts are all but gone now, but the scorched earth has remained barren and infertile ever since. Since then, the entire province has lain barren, tormented by cold and scorching winds in equal measure, with few precious plants taking root on their own. All fertile land in Magra is bought elsewhere and brought here by an endless caravan of carts and carriages. To pay for food and soil, the cities of Magra became skilled in many trades, primarily mining and digging for metals and stone. Last fall, there was an explosion just outside the city, followed by clouds of thick smoke. The first such incident frightened the citizens, but the explosions and smoke slowly became an everyday occurrence. Soon everyone grew used to it. Father explains that the miners are using a new invention called gunpowder, and it makes it easier for them to reach the precious stones and metals buried deep within the earth. Then one day, a thunderous explosion rocks the city, and black, billowing smoke covers the houses. People are stuck in their homes, all windows tightly shut. The air is impossible to breathe. Nathan coughs all the time. Gloria and you cough only when nobody is watching. If Mother hears it, she'll make you inhale those hot herbal vapors just like Nathan. It takes 2 days for the black smoke to disperse. People pour out onto the streets to meet their friends. Tomas is eager to share everything he knows about this incident with you. They took tons of burnt up people to the city temple. Mom told me she was there helping the healers. There are many rumors. Some claim that it was the work of a beast stirred from its slumber, while others say it was the surviving witches that continued to threaten the order and the empire with their accursed powers. But as for you, you patiently wait for Father to come back home, and you'll ask him about it. Father spends day and night working at the prefecture, while Mother spends all her time in prayer. It takes a full week for Father to finally come home, and he's almost completely spent. You muster up enough courage during dinner to ask him what happened to the city. Father raises his hand, his face bleak, his face a bleak, weary mask, and he starts muttering his proclamation. It's almost as if he doesn't see you. It's the mine outside the city. They were trying to get a vein of ore. There was an explosion, and the mine caved in, and the black smoke started flowing. Many workers died there. It was all because Count El Velasco, who owns the mines, wanted them to start mining that vein before they were ready. Some of the workers weren't even reborn. Perhaps the twins thought their final time had come. The prefecture has been inundated with complaints from families that have lost their breadwinners, asking judges for help. Many people also lost their cattle to the black smoke. Count El Velasco blames gunpowder for the disaster. Talk, Stephen. The prefecture and newspapers just repeat whatever he says, but it's plain old greed and tyranny of noblemen that are to blame. Why is the welfare of our province always paid for with commoner lives? Then without warning, he grows silent again. You keep thinking about it for days. Can a human life really end so easily? A single moment of bad luck and you die, only to re-emerge from the temple of or the family crypt with a new black mark on your arm. Or worse, you remain wherever you fell, dead, never to be reborn again, ever. Josh asks, what happens when the body can't be recovered but the person is reborn? Do they just die again straight away? So the body disintegrates in this world. So whenever someone dies, their body just completely disappears and vanishes into the air, and then it's reformed in either a crypt or the temple if there is no family crypt. Alright, so this is just showing you what will happen later. Your actions don't yet affect the Order and the wealth of Magra. They will eventually, but they don't as of yet. So that event, the exploding mine, brought down some of the Order in the province, but the wealth of Magra went up. Stefan's arrival. Oh, you know you're excited to have Stefan back. During lunch, Father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stefan will return home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather, Gregor Brante, as well as a noble friend of the family. You're excited about your brother's return. It has been years since you last saw him. How has he changed during his years away from home? You and Father await the guests anxiously. The doorbell rings. 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather's the first to come in, naturally. He's not changed a bit since the last visit. still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Grandfather's followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver whom you barely recognize as your brother. Stefan casts a glance to your threadbare clothes, dirty fingernails, and smirks. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. You've heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin Elborn, Stefan's uncle, a family friend, and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir Elborn smiles lightly and offers you his hand. And this must be your other ones. Yes. Using that name makes it seem so demeaning. This is your son, Stefan, and these are your other ones. You have your father's eyes, young man. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn. There's a moment of quiet when Stefan's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There's a question in Stefan's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. Wait, no. Sorry. Let me get Stefan's voice back. We noblemen oughtn't put our emotions on public display, Father. Not even at a lengthy separation. There's no embrace. Instead, Stefan nods to Father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is the first to enter. He kisses Mother's hand, and Gloria's too, and tussles Nathan's hair. Notice the difference, and remember the name. After seeing him hiding under the table, Grandfather acknowledges them with a glum nod. Greetings, Lady Brante. I remember you were kind to me when I was a child, and you must be Nathan. You could burn it up when I last saw you. Your elder brother ignores Gloria completely, not even a greeting. You proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they're merely to punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. Elborn is the only one with a friendly smile on his face. Dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You've a truly refined palate. Warms my heart to know that Stefan spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter what the estate. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. He casts a glance at Grandfather. He looks like he is about to choke on his words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at a boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor. Parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love, I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be here to raise Stefan. But there was still a family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the while. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge's rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps. And who knows, perhaps even the younger men of the Brante family will contribute to their clumsy, low-born cretin. Everyone is startled by the sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turns red. He is glaring at a young lady servant holding a pitcher over a glass. Stefan is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacket. Begone this instant! The lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on a small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Really not, Uncle. There's enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Stefan glares at Gloria across the table. She is sitting right next to you. She shrinks down and hunches over under his gaze. Father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stefan's gaze does not move. Yeah, Josh says Stefan looks like you need to climb off that high horse. Yeah. The silence lasts for too long. Then she starts to rise from her chair.
If the Brante's gentleman so wish it.
Your hands clench into fists under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sisters like that? It's all grandfather's doing. Stefan could not even bring himself to embrace father without his permission. And yet they are noblemen, and they have the right to act this way. If there's any way that this dinner can become even more unbearable, you do not wish to see it. So, which shall you do? Shall you insult your brother? Shall you make small talk, or shall you join Gloria? Alright, so you've got, put this up here. Insult, because I need to get some liquids to drink. Insult. Small talk. Or help Gloria. There you go. All right, and I am going to go get a little bit more to drink. Good boys, you guys are so good. All right, Josh has chimed in, and Josh is going to offer to help Gloria. There we go. Join Gloria in her plans. Let's see if it brings honor as you think it will. You deliberate for a moment, then take a napkin off your lap and rise to join Gloria. A moment later, you hear the sound of another chair moving. Your mother joins you. Josh says, of course, the way this has been going, this will backfire. Alright, a moment later, you hear the sound of another chair moving, and your mother joins you. The three of you now refill glasses, serve food, and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Elborn tries to make small talk with father, but in vain, so he focuses his attention on grandfather and Stefan. Grandfather is pleased to inform him of Stefan's achievements at the boarding school, especially his exemplary sword-fighting skills. He constantly stresses the importance of your elder brother for the future of the family. You listen to him dispassionately as you continue serving new dishes to the table. As you wait for the nobleman's table, your sister and mother never bump into each other. Your labor is impeccable. Grandfather could not have found fault with it even if he tried. And good job! You have improved relationship with Gloria. Your shoulders and back are aching, but being a manservant inside your own house hurts even more. When the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace you with relief. You did not neglect your relatives and shared their humiliation, and the composure that you have shown gave you new strength. Good job, and you gained a lot of willpower. Good job, my friend. You now have enough willpower to make 3 difficult decisions. I chose to insult Stefan. It was fun. It is a ton of willpower. Hot, dry wind steeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anazote prefer to remain in their chambers when the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. You're on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance, and you are to deliver it. Tomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The 2 of you are inseparable now. The outcome? Very similar. It was very similar. I don't think I gained willpower for it, but it really improved my relationship with Gloria. Me and Gloria were like this the whole time. Tomas, the boy from down the street, is tagging along. The 2 of you are inseparable now. The errand's an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the part of Anazote where the nobles live. So here you are, in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain, in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Tomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of the fountain's basin. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant for some noble. Never get a chance to enjoy life. I did it. I spoke in more than one tone. This is our lot, you remind him. We work and endure and suffer. But Tomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble. Our strength is patience and persistence. So, yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune, no matter what. So how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you, for example, Brante. Your father's a nobleman, but even that didn't make you one. Little typo, that's okay though. Just look at your hands. You've never had to work so hard as me, but we have the same lots, so we're supposed to suffer the same. Or look at your father. He's a judge. He toils at the perfection day and night doing his judging, and he's a noble. I've never seen an Archnean work as hard as he does. You shrug. The Archneans are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. Humans will never be their equals. Archneans are always better. They're stronger, smarter, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. If the books are to be believed, of course. You've never seen one yourself. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Common rabble like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and the wheels against the cobblestone and see flags bearing a coat of arms. A sable serpent on a field of vert. It makes you squirm. It's the Archduke's coat of arms. The Melandius dynasty. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. You do say. You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders suggested, but not revealed by the cut of her dress, which is very different, may I say, from the art that is shown here. Her stately slim silhouette, her pouty lips and prim nose, and those eyes, dark like the night sky, the way she moves fluidly, gracefully, and most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She is a masterpiece given life. She is an Archnean. Clear the way for me. The Melandius guardsmen work quickly to clear the way to the fountain for the Archnean lady. The searing sun dances on her skin in bizarre patterns. With one elegant motion, she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with the cool water. Well, I'll be. That's Octavia Melandius, our Archduke's own daughter. The Archnean turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestone right next to you. Her handkerchief. It's right there by your feet. It's intricate craftsmanship, expensive woven fabric, delicately decorated with emerald filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Josh is already panicking. Will you dare draw the beautiful Archnean's attention in order to return her lost possession, or would you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? And Josh does not want to make this choice. Well, there is another person that's watching, or at least another bot. Well, you can either, and you can unlock this because you have willpower for it, you can give the handkerchief back to Octavia, you can stash the trophy, planning to sell it later, or you can keep the handkerchief as a memento. I'll put you at ease a little bit on this, okay? You're not going to die. this decision, you will not die. So, will you give it back? Put it like this. Give back stash and sell, or keep. Alright, if you use willpower, will it have a pretty good positive impact? It will have an important impact for later. And it will be significantly down the line when it will happen. It's one of the few decisions that does not necessarily have like an immediate consequence, like an immediate negative or positive consequence, but it will have a reaction later on down the line. All right, and Josh is going to vote to use a little willpower and give it back. Doesn't seem like anybody's going to say no to that, so we will give the handkerchief back to Octavia. It takes a moment to overcome your fear. You follow the young lady Melendez and call out to her in a nervous voice. She turns around, her beautiful face marred by a puzzled expression. You extend the dropped handkerchief towards her. Lady Octavia's face contorts into a sneer. She signs to the guardsman indifferently. A guardsman gauntlet-clad hand slaps you in the face. It rings in your head like a heavy bell. Your nose cracks obediently under its staggering force. The rest of you follow suit and you fall prone. You can discern the guardsman's voice through the pain in your ears. "Shall I take the handkerchief back, lady?"
After a commoner's hands have befouled it, let him wipe himself with it for all I care.
Now, Octavia remembers you. The carriage drives away. Tomas runs up to you and drags you back to the fountain. Your head is still ringing from the blow. The fateful handkerchief is still crumpled in your hand. At least she remembers you. Yes, that is right. That is right. And that takes down your willpower, but not by much. You've still got plenty in order to make the decisions you need. And, matters of the heart, you have met a girl. Congratulations, you've now been introduced to what a girl is. Yes, and you get to keep it. All right. Let me see. Yep. 12 years old now, you overhear an important conversation. It is a spring night and your mother has just sent everyone to bed. You walk past Father's study and hear voices coming from beyond the door. Grandfather is yelling and Father is replying quietly. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid Mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they'll mention you too.
"Hello, my idiot had a call to pay a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He don't know he's going to support his claim for chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he?"
Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont may be lowborn, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful. Should he become chairman of the lesser quorum?
"I don't give a darn about who this Egmont is, Robert. What he is, however, is a lowborn. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They're nothing but a flock of sheep that needs a firm, noble hand to guide them. I've wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree. The cursed Cornelius Tempest did everything in his power."
Alright, that's good.
"I wasted years trying to quash that quorum decree. The cursed Cornelius Tempest did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic screed. And now, even lowlifes can wield power. True power, Robert.
Just the right to discuss the size of the Archduke's tax.
Nothing more. That's only the beginning. What's next? Are they going to arm the low lives now? Make them into judges? If the Empire rejects the Foundation and the Lots, the entire edifice will crumble. Bah! Am I telling this too? It's already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are harbinger of its destruction.
Father, I'm begging you. I do not wish to marry a third time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you would only allow her to...
I will allow them nothing. Neither Egmont nor that freeloading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? Huh. I can already see where this is going, and I'd rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where nobles and lowlifes share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book. But that dream will never come true. They will never call me Venerable Heir Brante. And it's all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stefan addressed in such a manner one day. Thank the twins I didn't let you ruin the boy. He's about to grow up and become a true nobleman.
Where was I? His children will bear the name of El Brante. You have 2 more grandsons.
Those spineless milksops from the common lot? They're incapable of anything. The best thing your middle son can do is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mantle. Although, I have great doubts even about that. I mean, have you seen the dude? You named him the other ones. It's a plural name for a singular boy. It's so stupid.
Where was I?
As for the downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever.
You hear grandfather's heavy footsteps, the thudding of his cane, and the slamming of the door. It's time to sneak back before you're discovered. Alright, so now we see some more differences happening. Some more things are starting to happen. You get to see now the power differences. Right now, the Overseer is definitely in power, but the old nobility does not have the power. Alright, so that brings us to the next part. School begins. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house. But before you can breathe a sigh of relief and put away the books, Father asks you to come into his study. You've grown, my son. It's time for you to continue your education away from home. By the way, welcome people who have joined into the live stream. Glad that you are here. We're going to make some decisions together in just a minute. I will put up a poll, or you can type it into the chat. But just to catch you up, basically, we're growing up and we're going to school now. That's it. I've chosen deserving school for you. Sir Tibor's school for the children of noblemen and well-off commoners. Naturally, it's not a boarding school for nobles, so you will study during the day and come home during the evening. You share the news with your best friend Tomas. Sir Tibor's school, eh? Yeah, I asked my parents to send me there too as soon as they can get coin together. Father says his workshop has toured day and night for years to save up money for my education. The school is based in an ancient estate of the Arcanian design. The classrooms are tall and spacious, with massive benches. The sounds of scraping quills and lectures on history and imperial law and theology echo under the vaulted ceilings. The rulers are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless Tomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Excuse me. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of their subject. Every day, Father asks you about your studies. You've already told him twice how Magra joined the Empire and how the Nobles' Court of Honor is different from the Commoners' Civil Court of the City Prefecture. Father keeps pressuring you to work even harder. When it is time to go to bed, Mother will not let you go to sleep until you recite a newly learned prayer for her. When it's time to go to school, you promise her every day that you will behave with great humility and steer clear of insolent behavior of any kind, for you still live by the commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. A little bit of exposition before we get to some decisions. Your first month in school draws to a close, and teachers announce that there will be exams at the end of the month to determine the best and worst students in each subject. Father insists that you devote all of your spare time to studying law and history if you wish to follow in his footsteps. But when you speak with Mother, here's the differences. When you speak with Mother every day, you start considering theology. You still remember the revelations and divine visions that came upon you in your early years. You only have one more day until the exam. You have locked yourself away in your room. It is already getting late. Your desk is covered with handwritten notes, surrounded by leather-bound books. Just looking at them makes you queasy. It makes me queasy even today. But you have to read through all of them again, at least for one of your subjects. There's a nagging thought on your mind. Tomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who lived next street. They heard about your wooden fortress and got outraged by the fortification built by commoners. They swore to dismantle it tonight. Tomas swore he would defend the fortress until the end. Perhaps you should abandon the books to rescue the friend in need? But then, you hear your little brother Nathan knocking at the door. He stands there shyly, not saying a word. He often does that, standing still and staying speechless, until either you speak first or he runs away. But this time, he actually says something. The door is locked. Are you okay? Other ones? Listen, anything I can do to help? I'll tell you what though, I'm happy to help, even though I am like super smashed. I got a great deal on solid edible brownies, and I am like wasted, but is there anything I can do to help you? Your head is spinning. This is the last evening before the school exam. If you fail, your family will be very disappointed. You have to refresh your memory on law or theology. Either one or the other. But Tomas and your fort are about to be stormed. Why today of all days? That's the way it always freaking goes, man. That's just freaking adulthood. It just always, like, everything always happens at the absolute worst times. You grind your teeth in a rage at the thought. Nathan is by the door, trying not to bother you. He wants to help you the only way he can, for reasons known only way to him. Will you accept his help? Alright, so you have got a whole bunch of decisions that you can do here. You can study law and history. You can go help Tomas. You can study theology. Or you can spend time with Mom and Nathan. Alright, so big old long questions here. Let me type all this out for you. You can study law. You can study theology. You can help Tomas, or you can talk with Nathan. There we go. All right, so here are your options, my friends. You have 4 choices to choose from. You have one day before a big exam, and your buddy, Tomas, is about to watch his fort get torn down by a bunch of noble boys. And your little brother is right there talking with you. So let's see. Just to give you guys a little bit more description of what's going on here, if you focus on law and history, you intently study the books on the secular sciences. This pushes you more towards being a nobleman if you want to do that. You can go help Tomas to protect your wooden fort with him, and that will help to build your friendship with him. You can study theology, which is what your mom wants you to do, and possibly become one of the priests. Or you can spend a moment with your little brother. The choice is yours, my friends. I see that there are 4 people in the live stream right now. There are 3 people in the live stream right now. But the choice is up to you. If you want anything clarified, I am happy to clarify. But this is up to you. And this is, and I'll take some of the pressure off. Like, of course, those of you tuning in who haven't done anything yet, all you have to do is just click on which one you'd rather vote for, which one you'd rather see happen. That's all you have to do, not requiring anything else of you. But I'll give you a few minutes more. I've done a few different things. I've spent time with Nathan. I did that in my first Let's Play, which is the one that's on YouTube. And I think I studied theology before. I don't think I've helped Tomas or studied history before. But I give y'all just a moment, because I know there's a little bit of a delay. And I'll tell you this, there won't be a major, to make it even easier for you, this decision does not come with any major punishments. Which so far quite a few of them have not come with severe punishments, except for saving Sophia. Alright, any choices? Any choices? Alright, well, if we don't get one in a couple of seconds, I'll tell you what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead, because I said there might be some times that I'd have to do this. I'm going to pull up my D&D Beyond app, and I'm going to roll a D4, because this isn't like a game-altering decision. It's kind of a minor choice. If no one... Josh is back. Josh is back. Alright, so here's what you need to catch up on. You got a big test coming up. Dad wants you to study law and history. Oh, Josh wants to study... Nothing's changed, Josh. Nothing's changed about you. We're studying theology. Alright. Alright, Josh wants to study theology. Anybody else? Nope, nobody else wants to say anything otherwise? Very well. Let's close out that poll and study theology it shall be. Wait, oh. Okay. If you want me to go back over them, Dad wants you to study law and history to make you more likely to be a noble. Tomas needs help because some nobles are going to tear down his fort. Mom wants you to study theology so that you can maybe be a priest one day. And Nathan is just little brother trying to help. Does that help to clear things up a little bit? Yeah, okay, so, oh, you want to help Nathan? Now, I will say, this isn't necessarily helping Nathan. He's asking to help you. But, if that's what you're sold on, 100% sold on, it's not a straightforward choice like you thought. Okay. Alright, so, spend a moment with Nathan. Good choice, good choice. That was what I made on my first choice as well. Alright, so let's spend some time with Nathan. You can't help but pay attention to your brother's quiet, weak voice. You push the books away. Nathan runs to you and wraps his arms around your legs. They should just leave you alone. I don't want you to get sick. Try this edible. It'll help you feel better. I felt great for like 2 months. Way too young to be hooked on weed, kid. Warmth emanates from his hands. Yeah, the dude's been doped up on weed for a while. There's probably a lot of things about him that are warm right now. You feel the burden of the responsibilities thrust on you fall from your shoulders. At last you realize something You can make your own decisions rather than submitting to the will of others. You laugh at this realization and feel a new spring in your step. Nathan laughs with joy when he feels this. He takes your hand and pulls you outside. You've studied enough. You spent the rest of the evening playing with your little brother, teaching him how to build a watchtower out of wooden planks and sticks and old rags from behind the house. Nathan's success in construction leaves much to be desired, unlike his skill in covering himself with mud. Still, he's absolutely overjoyed. The morning comes. You barely have time to wake up before you are walking to the menacing edifice of the school. The entire day is a constant flow of questions demanding answers. You give satisfactory responses on law and history, although you're somewhat confused by many of the technical and chronological orders. Your knowledge of the interpretation of the laws leaves much to be desired. Your parents are dissatisfied with your performance. You know that you could have worked harder. Still, you believe that yesterday was not a waste. And you have improved your relationship with Nathan, which is very good, and you just got a whole bunch of willpower back, which means more difficult decisions can be made. Alright, so that was indeed a good choice. I think that was a very safe choice, because watching you, dude, you like to spend willpower like I do, so having willpower is a good thing. Your education continues. As you study imperial law, you come to realize that there is a certain hierarchy even within the noble estate. It seems your father's status is not quite equal to that of the more eminent human and Archnean gentry. You return home with this new information at your disposal. Father asks you about school after dinner, as he always does. And what is the difference between the nobles of mantle and those of the sword, other ones? You already have an answer ready. The latter's status is hereditary, meaning it passes down from father to son. After the Archneans, nobles of the sword are the most eminent humans in the empire. They own the lands and estates, they fill offices of the highest ranks, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. Nobility of the sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province or the emperor himself. And how are such eminent people addressed? With the honorific L before their last name, you respond. Sir Augustin L. Bourne, for example. Father pats you on the shoulder, clearly pleased. What a great little method in order to teach us about the world. And what about the Archneans and their status? What have you learned about them? The Archneans stand above the human gentry. We've been over this already. They're born to rule over humans. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics. For the names of their ancient dynasties are known to all. Father nods somberly. Yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Archnean tells you and never defy them. Ever. And what about grandfather and me? Where do we stand as nobles? That's easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of the mantle. The title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by a commoner as a reward for great service to the Empire in the Legion or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks at you intently. Yes. And someday you will earn a noble title too, son. All in due time. Like, Robert is really rough around the edges sometimes, but he really does want the best for us. Alright, how much longer do we want to go today? We'll go a little bit longer, but I'm going to wrap up in the near-ish future. Sir Tibor's school teaches children of all stripes, nobles of the mantle, and low-born parents can send their sons here. And every passing day, the children of the noblemen invent new ways to snub and bully the commoners. Most of the time, the bullying lending them is Dietrich, the son of a secretary of the Imperial Chancellery and a self-important slob. Good to know. Sons of the noblemen never pick on you, however. They know your father has been a noble by mantle. However, Dietrich and his retinue soon choose Tomas as their favorite victim. Time and time again, you ask your friend not to pay them any mind, but again and again, Tomas grows angry and snaps at their self-satisfied mockery. It is early morning. The students are busy flocking the classroom for the next session. You wave Tomas over when you see him. He waves back at you, and then a bucket full of slop splashes on him. Needless to say, it's the work of Dietrich and his entourage. You hear his familiar creaky laughter. The tailor's son stinks. How dare he sit next to decent folk?
You're dead, Dietrich!
He throws himself at Dietrich's haughty entourage like a soldier ready to wage war. He attacks them first. This is just what they expected, and they are free to retaliate. He barely makes one movement before 4 pairs of hands grab him at once. Dietrich sneers and kicks your friend in the belly. Tomas gasps for air and starts coughing. You stand between them as Dietrich readies another kick. The nobleman's son cocks an eyebrow.
Why do you mingle with the commoners? He asks. Your father's a noble of Mantle. You ought to be friends with your own kind, your equals, not the dirt beneath your feet.
Behind him, 4 boys hold Tomas down as he struggles furiously. The other students are watching him, frozen in fear. Dietrich haughtily extends a hand to you. He clearly expects you to shake it. What will you do? So, you can challenge Dietrich to a fight. You can turn him over to the teachers. You can admonish the nobleman's sons and get on to them. Or, because you're buddies with... because you have this relationship, you can shake Dietrich's hand. He's right. Being friends with the son of nobles can... Never mind. You couldn't make this decision if you helped Tomas. That's what it's saying, yeah. All right. So, let me get this typed up for y'all. It is fight. Fight, turn him in. Admonish them, or shake Dietrich's hand. There we go. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? All right, let's pull it up here. Yes. Yes, you are always having to get out of the worst places. Yeah, it sucks. Sometimes it sucks. And then you get a moment where things are okay, and then it sucks again, and then things are nice for a minute, and then it sucks, and it sucks, and it sucks. But yeah, so what will you do? So pretty much all of these you're sticking up for Tomas, except for shaking Dietrich's hand. Now, I know you're torn up about this because you're trying to think of, like, how this is going to affect things. Oh, you said in the worst pickles. That's an even better way to put it. Any decision? I'll give you just a minute, and then... Tell you what, I'll give you another 15 seconds, and then I'll roll a d4. Oh, wait, never mind. Admonish seems to be the most honorable choice, so you'd rather admonish them. Good choice, good choice. All right, so you're going to admonish the noble sons. You make a speech, not to the lead bully himself, but rather to his retinue. How come Dietrich sees himself fit to instigate fights? His family may be higher in rank, but like everyone else here, he has yet to take the nobleman's sacrament himself. The nobleman's lot is not yet his, so he's not yet fit to fight or rule. Nor are any of you. The twin gods are every watching over us. Couple typos here and there. You add, and they are ever vigilant. Don't you dare try to defy their will. Dietrich tries to retort. They've broken no laws, he says. All they've done is teach commoners the meaning of suffering. You call upon the knowledge gained from your theology lessons and easily pick his argument apart. Every man's first duty is to follow his lot, and Dietrich and his friends lack the humility to accept that they are not yet true nobles. The hands holding Tomas down grow weak. There's a whimper among the students around you, because you're right. The twins are always watching how we follow the lots. Dietrich's retinue quickly dissolves in embarrassment. He furiously orders them to come back and join his cause, but his exhortations are all in vain. Yeah, it should have been ever watching, not every watching. The other boys are clearly impressed with your words. The noble children will think twice before acting out again. And you have gained a little bit of relationship with Tomas. Good job, good job. And you've increased your spirituality. Alright, let's see. Is this the one that I think it is? If this is the one I think it is, then this will be the one that we end on. No, it's not, but this is a good one too. Alright, here we go. This will be fun. Ready? Your theology teachers tell you more about Anazote. It is more than just a providential capital. It's also a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twin gods' first disciples spilled their blood, and from that blood grew the sacred silver tree. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. You see its branches in the sky every day, but you've never approached the trunk of the tree yourself. Today, you will be taking your first trip to the silver tree. Oh, whoops, I missed it. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and the other students will witness the landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everyone is excited. Soon you and the other boys enter the slums surrounding the church district of Anazote. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground through the area. Pathetic, cramped hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point towards the temple. They seem to be at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. Your class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. You find the temple of the twin gods right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There's a crowd there, pilgrims dressed in traveling clothes, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There's an argument among some of the people who are gathered in the separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upward at the tree's branches. The tree impresses you with its might, the calm emanating from it. You're filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself, to touch the silver white bark, and hearken to the whispering leaves. You're distracted enough to fall back from the rest of your classmates. You notice a small path. It should take you right to the tree trunk. A tall red-haired woman walks out of the crowd of pilgrims. She is wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. But her hands clutch a book. You've never seen this lady pilgrim before, yet she looks at you almost as if she's recognized a lifelong friend. She beckons you she beckons to you and says her name, Matilde. I'm guessing. A preacher from Estina. What she says next shakes you to your very core. It's commendable to see a young man so keen to learn the teachings of the twins, she says. Yet you will never follow the light of truth within the walls of the temple. Inside you will find only the lies about the lots, and the erring words of the prophet Isaiah, sanctified by the passage of centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins' own lives, knows that they never so much as mentioned the lots. The red-haired preacher's words frighten you. They clash with everything that you've heard from Mother, everything you've been taught at school. The lots are a lie? You freeze in fear. Should you argue with Matilde, or ask for more information, or should you treat her as a madwoman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small, warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl right next to you. She's just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, threadbare yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered with a handkerchief.
It is not covered with a handkerchief in this photo. Your artists are very inaccurate.
With only a single golden lock showing. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the red-haired preacher. You stare in confusion at the strange young girl, your cheeks flushed by the sudden touch. It is fascinating, isn't it? I love the lore and the history of this storyline. They really put a lot of thought into it. There's just a bit of color in her cheeks too, but then she starts speaking to you quietly.
Don't listen to her. She's dangerous. Come to the temple with me. Only there will you see the truth.
You stand there, aha, and there's something you cannot do. You stand there surrounded by the crowd of praying pilgrims and surrounds of the shuffling feet torn between two people you have never seen before, and each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while, you hear the whispering of the wind in the tree's branches. The branches reach out for you, almost as if the tree wishes to speak with you itself. Can you hear its voice? The answer's no. You can't. You don't have enough insight for it. And that's probably from needing a little bit more spirituality. But that's okay. So, you can leave them and approach the tree itself. You can stay with the red-headed pilgrim, or, because you have enough willpower, you can follow the girl into the temple. Which shall you do? Shall you follow the girl? Stay with the red-headed pilgrim? Or shall you leave them and approach the tree itself? Decisions, decisions, decisions. And the only thing that's required up here is just willpower. And that's for following the girl into the temple. What do you think, my good friend? Put this here. What was it? Girl. Redhead. Ooh, Josh wants to go straight to the tree. All right, forget the pole. Josh wants to go straight up to the tree, leaving both of them behind. The tree is beautiful. The silver-white foliage stretches and spreads towards the sky, held aloft by a trunk so thick it would be a challenge to walk around it. Where was I? Sorry. Uh-oh. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, buddy. There's still a little bit of a delay. That's what I get for not being patient. I can't go back and change that. But I can tell you basically what happens. Actually, I don't remember. But you can look at what happens. My fault. It's my fault for being too quick to jump the gun. But you can look at what happens in my episode on the Silver Tree. I think it's entitled Everything We've Been Told Is a Lie. Because I went to go see her. Alright, anyways. The tree, it seems to speak to you. You walk away from the odd-looking preacher and the young acolyte, ignoring them as they call to you. You walk around the temple and the crowd of people, getting closer to the tree with every step. Then you extend a shaking hand to touch the bark. It's unusually warm. You can feel a pulse beneath the roots. The tree is alive. The roots are so gigantic they form large grottos, spaces of air embraced by the roots of the ground. You squeeze into one of the grottos. It's unusually bright and quiet, shielded from the noise of Anazote. Right now there's only you and the tree. You sit down. The leaves are rustling all around you. The only noise you hear is the beating pulse of life that flows through the tree. And this pulse beats in time with your own heart. You feel clarity and calmness, free of doubt and frustration. The tree speaks to you, or are they your own thoughts, so strange, unfamiliar, and eye-opening? These thoughts speak of soothing love, and of crystal clear law and love, and law intertwining to bring the miracle of life to you. You stop slouching, and a frown becomes a light smile. Hours pass like fleeting seconds. You lose track of time until you overhear someone shouting your name. Alas, it's time to leave the grotto. The sun is setting over Anazote now. The day was quick to pass. Your teacher frowns, ready to scold you. You mumble an explanation, say you are ready to be punished for your disobedience. Yet, instead, the teacher nods in understanding. Oh-hoo! That gained a lot of willpower. You keep looking back at the tree all the way home. Whatever happened to you today, find it difficult to put into words. Alright, my bad, friend, for not having patience and missing that. I'll make sure to put up a poll from now on. I love this music. This is my favorite instrumental track in the whole score. Another school day has ended. You make your way home, still mulling over the things that you learned from your teachers. The founding of the empire, the eternal and unshakable rule of a single dynasty. The 3 estates, each with its own rights. An odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least it sounds that way when your teachers talk about it. Mother's waiting for you on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expression shows great concern. Father left on a trip to serve distant Magran towns for a few days. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? You join Mother and pray to the twins. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to them, and their great design in a barely audible whisper. You repeat after her just as she has taught you ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you. Other ones, my son, or sons. I don't rightly know why we named you a plural name, even though you're just an individual child. You are 13 now. You'll be a grown man soon. It's time you learned about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It's about your father and me, about our marriage. You gaze curiously into Mother's eyes. I'm sure you've wondered about this before. Your father's a nobleman of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, other ones, your father, when his first wife, Amelia Elborn, died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then he met me. You know the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask them for help, protection, and justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. The nobleman took a liking to me. May his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humbled and honored his lot to rule, but he took me by force. That's what happened, I forgot. Mother falls silent, summoning the courage to continue. Gloria's a nobleman's daughter, but he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with a low-born progeny? He turned me out on the street with that little baby girl in my arms. Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her hand tenderly. I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think that the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that at that very moment the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me that there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me, but he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agreed, he would take me to his own home. Tears are running down Mother's face. And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer. But caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and to care for others. But his decision to marry me, he's still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors which we heard about the Brantes all over Anazote. It was only thanks to the efforts of Sir Gregor that the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of its reputation. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about that scandal, thank the twins. Mother falls silent. She looks at you intently. Do you understand what she's telling you? My son, I'm not telling you this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor's accepted me through gritted teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria, she can never be a Brante. Even if the elder Brante agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the midst of high society, and if that were to happen, other ones. They would see even your birth as illegitimate. What I told you just now is something you have to know, son. You are about to enter adult life. By my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family, but may I ask you a question? Now that you know all of this, do you still see Gloria as your sister? You can either accept Gloria as your sister, you can distance yourself from her, or you can try to evade the question so that you don't disappoint Mother. Not Q&A. A poll. You can accept Gloria, distance, or evade the question. All right. I'm going to put that there for just a minute, and I need to be right back, and then I shall return and we'll wrap up this episode. But this will be the last major decision. Which shall you do? Go ahead. All right. No decision as of yet. All right, the last decision of the stream. What shall happen next? Alright, accept Gloria. Is that your final answer? Just to make sure, because I was stupid earlier. Alright, seems good. Accept Gloria? Yep. Alright. See, this is why we're buddies. This is why we're buddies. Filled with determination, you assure Mother... Filled with determination, you assure Mother that Gloria is and always will be your sister. You want Gloria to be a Brante too. You want her to be a part of your family. Who cares what the nobles of Anazote says? Mother beams with quiet joy when she hears this. Oh, other ones, if only you knew how happy that would make me, to have our family united at last. However, the joy on her face quickly gives way to concern. But I already owe Sir Robert a great debt that I can never repay. He's given my daughter so much, a home and education, his care and advice. The Brante bloodline could suffer so much from Gloria's existence. We should all learn to just accept her status as it is. Just then, Gloria carefully knocks at the door of Mother's chambers.
Mother! Otherwise, I couldn't find you.
You happily greet your sister. Yes, she is your sister. No old secrets can ever change that. Mother gives you and Gloria a kiss on the forehead and returns to her prayers. And you have a +1 to Gloria. You and your sister walk downstairs together. Mother is alone by her bedside now, thanking the twins with a quiet prayer for the Brante family they have given her. You hope that they can hear her. And you've increased one as well with Lydia Brante. So big positives. Big positives. Alright, let's see. Ooh. Alright, I'll read this part and then it'll be time to wrap up. Another theology lesson. Today's sermon is about the priests and why the clergy is the only one of the 3 estates with the right to interpret the lots and guide the other 2 estates accordingly. Tomas sits next to you, huffing and puffing, as he fervently writes down the teacher's every word. But you've heard this all from Mother so many times before, so take a moment to daydream a little. Father promised to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. Excuse me. But the teacher suddenly casts a stern look around the lecture hall and raises his voice at one of your classmates. A boy by the name of Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he had just said. Brian freezes and seems to shriek. He tries to muster a reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated. Someone is about to get punished. The teacher now looms over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flushed and his eyes are covered in tears. You watch all the teacher's ironbound, you all watch the teacher's ironbound book as he raises it sharply, about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered in horrible burns. It's magic. Real magic, just like in the books about the Maghreb Rebellion. The class freezes in shock. There's a dull thud as the iron-bound book falls to the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rends the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes and sparks on his fingertips. There are screams now. Students run from the door. The teacher tries to extinguish his burning hair. Brian snaps his fingers and the book of Isatias on the desk turns into a pillar of flame. He laughs and raises his arms, and the curtains catch fire. The screams grow louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames and his whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps toward the door. You and Tomas glance at each other. He's going to burn the whole school down. Your friend's determination makes you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor, even though his body sears your flesh. Brian screams, convulses, and grabs Tomas. by the shoulders with his burning hands. Tomas howls, but he stays put, then knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room now. They put out the fire and take away the teacher, his body covered in horrible burns. You and Tomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor silent. So soon, three men in black cloaks enter the doors of the school, each bearing an edict sealed with silver, the Inquisition. You and Tomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the Inquisitors remains behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explains. Sorry. The ungodly power that twists the minds of men into savage instruments of murder. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of the twins can save us all from its evil grasp. The next day you were forbidden from ever mentioning Brian's name again. He is no more. And, since you're spending so much time with him, you get a natural +1 to Tomas, which gives you guys a good, strong friendship. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we shall leave off for now. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you very much, Josh, for participating. There have been a few other people who stopped in and out, but I want to thank you for being here. You're the only one this time to participate, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot, and I'm hoping to be able to do this soon, but I might have to take a break from the live streams for a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll do as much as I'm capable of doing, and I'll try to find a better time for everybody. All right, thank you as well very much, and we will see you guys later. Peace out, homies! What? Don't look at me like that. What'd you expect?